We are back. It is great to be back with both you guys. We are the Jag Bros, three brothers. I'm Jack along with Joey and JT. Miss getting to talk some Jags football, especially officially on the pod. We're kind of in the dead season of football after the draft, but training camp is around the corner and then preseason. And then before you know it, the regular season will be here. So today we're talking about some of the big games for the Jags schedule. But before we even get into that, how are y'all feeling? It's middle of July and Jags football is almost back. How is your excitement level for Jacksonville Jaguars football?
I feel like my excitement only grows as we get closer. But if you ask me a question right before the first game of the season, I'm predicting 17-0 for the Jaguars. Right
Come
now, I'm
on.
like my excitement level is on the up, and I think one of the things that gets me most excited about this year is the fact that we have a new coach. We seem to have some cohesion in the front office, and just that one little bit of intangible piece alone it tends to have repercussions on the field, especially since every single game is almost always a one-score game.
So excited for the season. I can't wait. I mean, this downtime kind of sucks right now, but you got training camp coming up soon, then preseason. So it's right around the corner, but I'm so excited to see what the whole Travis Hunter offense defense looks like. Liam Cohen, the quarterback whisperer, he made Will Levis look good. He made Baker Mayfield look good. So what can he do with Trevor? There's a lot of exciting things that if they all go correctly, this could be an incredible season.
It's the middle of July. Hope springs eternal. But there is a new wave of hope because to both y'all's point, to me, there's a new big three in the front office. You got, as y'all mentioned, Cohen, first-time head coach. You got Gladstone, first-time GM, and then first-time EVP, Executive Vice President Tony Baselli. So you have that big three that seems to all be working together. And then it's going to be, well, what does the big three on the field look like? Trevor Lawrence coming back from an injury, a disappointing season, just an overall messed up season for the Jags. You have BTJ, who looks like a superstar already as a rookie. And then, yeah, Joey, as you said, what in the world is Travis Hunter going to look like trying to do something that hasn't been done in the NFL in at least a really long time? If he's able to fully start and start both, maybe not really done ever before. So that's your big three on the field, BTJ, Trevor, and Travis Hunter. But let's talk about the Jaguars' schedule and potentially a big three in terms of games. So each of us picked three games that we're kind of already circling. Looking at the preseason is just a couple weeks away on August 9th at home against the Steelers. And then the regular season will kick off Sunday, September 7th against the Panthers. Let's go ahead and share. We haven't shared with each other, but what are your three games that you're circling with? Are any of you guys circling week 1, September 7th, home opener against the Panthers?
Yeah, I'm going to that game. It's the only game that I probably go to this year, but I wanted to see kind of how we come out this season. It's a must win, honestly, to really set the tone for this year, to kind of show the whole league what we're going to do with Travis Hunter. It's going to be an extremely exciting game, and it's a very winnable game. You have to win these winnable games.
Yeah, Joey, I think I might be joining you in Jacksonville for that week. Our next door neighbor is a big Panthers fan. We have been commiserating over the last few years about some head scratching decisions our teams have been making, but still trying to be optimistic going into the 2025 season. So I think that'll be a fun game. It'll be great that game is at home. And so, yeah, I will circle it, not because it's the biggest, but just like you, Joey, I think I'll be there.
Well, and shout out to our cousin Spencer, who is a listener of the Jag Bros and a Panthers fan as well. It should be a fun game. Both these teams have made some big moves in the offseason. They're going to have totally different looks. Right now, the Jags are favored by 2.5 points. It's a game where you're going to see Travis Hunter for the first time in a Jags jersey. You're going to see what Coach Cohen draws up. And to me, it's going to be fascinating. It would not shock me to see the Jags stumble out of the gates a little bit, but it also wouldn't shock me if the Jags got a big win and just a ton of excitement if we pull that out on week 1.
Also, the matchup of the old Buccaneers offensive coordinators. The Panthers is 2 years ago offensive coordinator, and then this year Liam Cohen. So it'll be also a little fun to see kind of which one is the better OC.
Absolutely. And if you're a first-time listener, I'll just say this too, kind of give you a flow of the pod. Once we get to that week, we'll give you a full in-depth preview of that game. And then afterwards, hopefully a celebration pod breaking down the game and what the Jags did well. But the first game I circled is week number 3. It's our home game against the Texans. Of course, we want to get back on top of the AFC South. It's been a couple years. The Texans have won back-to-back divisions. It'll be a revenge game after the Texans linebacker knocked out Trevor Lawrence on a dirty hit. They got him fined and suspended for several games last season. So I think Trevor's going to come in fired up. Hopefully we see him in even more of a leadership role. I mean, we're paying him like $250 million. He's got to take that next step. Hopefully he will with finally a great offensive coach. And if we're going to take the AFC South title back, that is the game we have to win. That's a game at home. Right now, we are 1.5-point underdogs. So, they're saying it's going to be a close game. You got to go win close games after losing, I think it was 10, maybe 11 one-possession games. Let's get off to a hot start, maybe 2-1, maybe even 3-0 with a win at home against the Texans week 3.
Love that game as well, Jack. It's not going to be one of my choices, but I do think you need to find a way to at least split the Texans. So if you somehow lose that game, you're going to have to win in November in Houston, because I think that is going to be our best route to really do any type of noise in the playoffs is win your division.
Which I will say we did win in Houston, not last year, but the year before that. Joey, you and I were at that game. Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen went off. The Texans' offensive line looks like it's got some holes again. Cam Robinson, a well-known offensive tackle, will be suiting up for the Texans. They traded away their top offensive tackle this offseason. So maybe week 3, Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker can feast in that game.
All right, so let's go further down the schedule. The next marquee game that's on there is the Chiefs versus the Jaguars at home, a Monday night game. Did anybody pick that game as one that they've circled?
I circled it for us not to embarrass ourselves in that game.
That's a great point.
That's exactly same here. I mean, it's not a must win or anything, but we just need to look presentable on prime time.
Yeah, everybody remembers the embarrassment that we had last year multiple times when we were the only game in that time slot. It's not something we're looking to repeat. It's not one that I have circled either, but it is going to be one of the ones that I think Drive By Media will call out as one of the key games for Jacksonville.
For the next game, I actually have an important game is the Seahawks game. It's a home game. We really need to do much better at home than we did last year. We need to make sure that we're winning at home. It's a huge thing to win in front of your fans. It's really good for your camaraderie as a team, to protect your house, your stadium, and win at home. And the Seahawks is a very winnable game. They now have Sam Darnold. I don't know how well he'll do now that he doesn't have Justin Jefferson and the whole Viking offense. They traded away DK Metcalf. It's a very winnable team and winnable game. I think if you go out there and steal this win, it sets you up for a great trip into London.
Do we only play one London game this year?
We do.
That's interesting. I guess I didn't fully realize that until just now looking at this thing, because the game that I circled next is that next week with the Rams game in London. I think there's a very good chance Jacksonville is somewhere between 2-4 and 4-2 through the first 6 games. And that to me is just a pivotal game to springboard you to the back half of the year. It goes into your bye. You've played well in London typically. Not every time, not last year against the Bears, but you typically play well in that. That's a winnable game for Jacksonville. It comes from the Sean McVay coaching tree. There's a ton of different angles. That one, I would love to see Jacksonville get a win at.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. And, typically the GM doesn't have as much of a say in what happens in the day-to-day, but that will be a little bit of a matchup against Gladstone's Rams there. Both those games, I think if the Jags go 1-1 there, you feel like that's a win. The Jags are favored by 1 point to win home against the Seahawks week 6. And then, yeah, JT, I circled week 7 as well against the Rams, just because it's so fun that we do have so many London fans that we can finally talk about how the whole quote unquote London Jaguars is over, in the sense we're not relocating there. We're revamping the stadium in the next couple of years, and Shad Khan continues to invest heavily in the Jacksonville Jaguars. But we still love our London fan base. And yes, typically we've done well. So if you find a way to win that last game before the bye, that puts you in hopefully a really good position for the second half of the season, where there are a lot more winnable games too.
Well, it's not just our GM that comes from the Rams. It's also the coach, right? He comes from the Sean McVay tree. So there's a lot of both strategy and personnel and just decision making that comes from that organization. So it'll be interesting to see how they go against some of their mentors. Okay, so let's continue on into now we're into the month of November. We'll play the Raiders on the road. We'll play the Texans on the road. And then we return right before Thanksgiving. Actually, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's a little later this year. With the Chargers at home. I was at the game 2 years ago when we were playing in the playoffs, and the Chargers mount up this big first half lead, only for Jacksonville to come storming back. One of the highlights of my in-person sporting event history. A lot of fun. That's a game I think Jacksonville might need to win. I think both those teams will be in that playoff hunt at that time. The Chargers are a very good team. They're much better coached now with Harbaugh over there. It's a game that you could win. I mean, you have home field advantage, the East Coast, West Coast situation there. I would love to see us get a win there.
Man, I wish I had as much faith as you, JT. I mean, if we win that game, I know we're only 2-point underdogs, but I am such a believer in Harbaugh and what he did. He turned that team around so quickly. They looked really good last year. And all those pieces, it seems like, are going to get better and better. I think you look at the top of the AFC, I think the Chargers are, in my opinion, absolutely in that conversation. I think Chiefs, just because they always are, they have Patrick Mahomes. The Ravens, and if the Bengals can find a way to put any sort of defense around Joe Burrow. And then I think the Chargers and the Broncos, who will play a little bit later, those are the two kind of up-and-comers to me. And then hopefully the Jags can sneak in that conversation. But I still think the Jags are a year away from being up there in the elite of the AFC.
I'm not that big on the Chargers. I mean, they're good and they're coached very well, but I don't know if they have that much talent. Their running back situation's okay, but they do have a great offense and defensive line, and their coach is really good. It's going to be a very hard game.
All right, who wants to take us to the next game?
Yeah, so I have the very next game, week number 12, because you go on the road at Arizona, and you're coming out of the bye with 4 pretty tough games here. So you have at the Raiders, which is always hard to win on the road. You're after a bye, which sometimes is a great spike. Sometimes you come out a little flat, but that could be a big game, because then you go at Houston, then you have a tough game against a playoff team and the Chargers at home. But then I circled this one because if you can win week 12, you set yourself up really nicely for a good run of games. And it's still a very winnable game as well. Arizona as a whole has kind of been sitting in this, 7, 8, 9 wins every season. Kyler's never taken the next step as well. In many ways, they're like the Jaguars in the Jack Del Rio era, where they just always seem to be about a 7 or 8 win team. And if we're a legit playoff team, if we're going to go win the division, you've got to be able to beat those teams. Because I think it's going to be like the line says. I think it'll be a very, very close game. So if the Jags can win that game and go on a streak, then I love our chances of making the playoffs finally this year.
It's a weird schedule. I mean, the last 6 games, you have 2 against the Titans and 2 against the Colts. You will not play 2 of your 3 divisional opponents until November 30th. That's really strange.
Which is nice. I mean, I'm not a big believer in the Titans or Colts for this season, and not just because I'm hating on them, because they are division rivals. But there's a real world, especially with the Colts, that, December, they may be tanking for a quarterback in a good 2026 draft class, which only helps us in making those games a little more winnable.
Well, for my last one, I have the game against the Denver Broncos circled because I think they are the new kind of darlings of AFC. I think they're really well coached under Sean Payton. I think Bo Nix is going to be playing well. He was playing really well his rookie season. They have a lot of talent. We're going to be in Denver, and it's going to be a real test. It's going to be closing the season. We're going up against a playoff team most likely. Can we perform? Can we play well, even in the cold, even it's right before Christmas? Kind of people are going to be watching. It's not a primetime game, but it could be a game that's really important for us to win. And can we perform against a very good team?
Joey, who you got, Denver or the Chargers?
Oh, I have the Broncos for sure.
Oh, for sure. Interesting.
Do you have Denver over the Chiefs?
No, but I have it really close.
Interesting. See, I think the Chargers and Denver are pretty similar in a lot of ways. Just kind of depending on injuries, one could go the other way. And I agree with you that the Chiefs are still one notch above both of them.
To me, Herbert is more proven, where Bo Nix, I liked him a lot in his rookie season, but you never know. A sophomore slump is a real thing. We saw that in our own division with CJ Stroud. But the Broncos defense is going to be filthy again this year, just stacked with talent. They had the defensive player of the year and Pat Surtain. He's going to continue to excel. And just that whole defense is going to be tough to score in Denver on Sunday, December 21st. But if you find a way to steal a couple of these games, you never know with the Jaguars. They're this new young team. They're going to have a completely different look. This is a Jags team that I think you're going to lose some of the games that you're like, oh, we should not lose. But I think you're also going to win some games that everyone in the NFL is going to be shocked and stunned. You're like, what in the world? Like, how is Jacksonville winning these games?
Yeah, it's a great take, Jack. I think that's spot on. I think we still have a very young core, and you have a team that hasn't really learned how to win. And so it'll be interesting to see how we respond to some of the adversity that we will be facing and if we're up for the challenge.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jack, that I think we may let some games slide, but also sneak a few really good wins in there. I mean, I'm just super excited to see how this whole plays out because I just felt cheated last year. I thought the team was so much better than it was. You were watching it and you're like, why are we running this play? Why is the coach doing this? They're not playing together. They don't even seem like they want to be out there. It felt like a season kind of robbed from us. And so I'm just super excited about this season and all the new hope that's out there.
It's a good way to put it. I feel like a year and a half was robbed from us where 2023 started off so well, then everything just fell apart. And then we didn't make the moves that all the Jags fans wanted. We wanted a new OC at the very least, and we didn't get that. And 2024 was more the same where Trevor stalls and the O-line is bad. And so, yeah, I feel like a year and a half has been robbed from us with Press Taylor and Doug Peterson towards the end, and certainly Trent Baalke. And so there's just a new era, a new day in Jacksonville, and Jacksonville Jaguars football just cannot get here quick enough.
Well, we will be with you guys more frequently as we get closer to the regular season and even the preseason. Preseason, shockingly enough, at this point is less than 1 month away. August 9th is the first home preseason game against the Steelers. So we'll be back now on a more regular basis, breaking down the games, giving you ideas of what to look for and expectations of what we would like to see from this team moving forward. As always, leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast. We'll be happy to read it and continue to try to improve the content that we bring you guys each and every week. And with that, we were going to sign off. Middle of July, approaching a potentially magical 2025 season. Duuuval.